Frederick Douglass and the Beatles. You know,
Both of those peoples are going places according to our president. They're all going. I mean, I'm making a reference that was like months old, but
Right.
hey, everybody. Sorry.
Go ahead. You can start it.
Hey, everybody. We're
What?
You're listening to the Why Aren't You Famous? Oh, I just totally spiked out your mic. Sorry. Why Aren't You Famous podcast. Should we start this over?
No, we're already out of the gate.
Okay, out of the gate. Gotta keep going. I'll stop yelling.
Yes. Stop yelling, and I'll fix it in post.
We were just celebrating Andrew Grimm's deep love of the Beatles.
Yeah, the
before
Beatles.
We hit the record button.
Why bother writing music or doing anything anymore now that the Beatles have done it all?
They've done it all.
By 1970.
Yep.
It didn't matter after then, you know.
So I was irrelevant even before I was born.
It's, you know, I didn't want to bring it up, but yes.
Dang it.
You are irrelevant. We're all irrelevant according to John, Paul, and Ringo. Is it that John Nolan has that line? He says, robbing Ringo to pay Paul. That's a great line. That's the only thing about the Beatles I like, is that line from John Nolan.
From John Nolan. Yeah. Have we featured a John Nolan song on this yet?
We have. I think so.
Didn't we do something? Yeah.
Yeah. No, we didn't.
We haven't done a John Nolan song yet?
I think we talked about it, but we didn't.
People got to listen to John Nolan because he is a great writer.
Yes. I don't know if he still has his sideburns, but his sideburns were amazing too.
They were spectacular.
You can live off those for years. Years.
Is there a lot of nutritional value in sideburns?
Yeah. I mean, how do you think I survive?
I feel like it's just emotional value. Like you pet them. Ooh.
Well,
so
yeah.
it's like very comforting.
Yes.
It's like a kinesthetic value.
Yes. Whenever I'm feeling stressed or anxious, I just
pet your own face.
I stroke my burns. That's what they call them.
Stroking something.
Yeah.
I can't wait till mine come in.
Your sideburns?
My sideburns come in. Probably, I would say now I'm low these many years away, but probably maybe like another decade. Mm-hmm. It's gonna a little of the top lip starting to show up.
Yeah, there's gonna be a shift.
Yeah.
It's got hair shift. Those guys are great. I loved hair shift. Hair supply.
You're every woman in the world to these sideburns. You're everything to me. You're all the sideburns I need. I love that you let me finish that.
You know, there's some things that you just can't get in the way of.
Ow, I hurt my tooth.
Well, this is it. We're just procrastinating because we know neither of our essays make sense.
Have you listened to mine?
No, of course not.
Mine's good.
Mine's okay.
Okay, who do you want to start with? Well, let's talk about what we're talking about today.
We're talking about death.
Death? Question mark? Your cat's on the table again. Oh, yeah, and the silver spoon.
Oh, jeez.
I'm super awake today.
You are. You are very alert.
I got enough sleep. That's the differences.
Well, you didn't go to the Jason Isbell concert like the rest of Baltimore.
I didn't go to the Jason Isbell concert.
There were a lot of people. I saw a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
I met some folks I hadn't seen in a while, and then and then like the online stuff. Mike Mesco, who was the other half of Factory Horse.
Oh,
my
cool.
First band. He was there. I didn't see him, but he online. He posted some stuff that he was there. Howard Markman was there.
Yep. Well, no, I told him because I saw on Facebook that he was there, and I was like, "Look for Andrew Grimm," and then he and Eleanor looked for you.
Yeah, I never. I think they were directly below us.
Oh, gotcha.
And by the time I left, but Jason Seymour was there.
Oh, cool. I think I'm supposed to have lunch with him next week.
Yeah, he's. I saw a picture. I've never known him with hair.
I don't think I have either.
There's a picture floating on Facebook with him with hair.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like, what?
You're like, I could get behind those sideburns.
What? Well, I don't know if I could, but what? It's a whole new dimension. Meg is like, if I can't be on my computer, I'll chew through your headphone cable.
Yes. Man, Meg, stop being so needy today.
I know. He's
very needy right now.
Very needy right now.
Okay, so we're talking about death.
Yes.
Question mark. And the reason I say death question mark is that when we made the list, the word got in there and it was just like, maybe we probably meant to revisit it and go back and be like something a little bit more specific about death and fame. But then we just left it because we got busy and now it is death question mark. And so I feel like the way that we should be saying that is death?
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 Yeah.
Kind of like the way a lot of young people talk, like, this is what I really think?
Where are you going to school? McDaniel? I'm not sure.
So I'm not sure of death. Death? But I'm...
Do you want to have dinner tonight? No. Rather go to bed hungry, thank you.
Does that happen? Did that happen to you?
No. I'm just trying to think of stupid things people would say with a question mark.
I'm really liking this pasta? Because you know what?
I have a stomach ache?
I really was going to say I'm really liking this sausage. And then I thought, that seems a little bit risque for 10:45 in the morning.
For this early in the podcast.
And
we usually warm up to the inappropriate stuff when we get really comfortable later.
So then I changed it to pasta.
Pasta.
Pasta. Mm-hmm. I really like this pasta. Anyway, okay, so people have stopped listening now. Let's talk about death.
Okay.
It's coming for us all. It's lingering there.
It doesn't seem to slow down.
Doesn't discriminate.
It does not. I mean, I wish it would discriminate a little bit more.
I know, right?
But who am I? I'm just a guy. Just a guy with coffee.
Just a guy with coffee.
All I am. That's all I'll ever be. All right, that's depressing. All right, so we'll listen to your essay first because we listened to my essay first last time.
Okay, yeah, let's listen to my essay,
and then we'll get to it.
Okay. I went to a small liberal arts college in Conway, Arkansas called Hendrix College that is about 2.5 hours away from Memphis, Tennessee. I graduated in 1997 with honors, thank you very much, with a Bachelor of Arts degree in history. Hendrix is really where I took the first steps on the road I've been traveling with music. I started playing guitar at that college, learning from boyfriends and friends and having encouragement from classmates to play on campus. I eventually formed a band with 3 friends and we played a lot around the area during my junior and senior years, experimenting with a folk rock sound that was centered around my songwriting. We even recorded an album called Careful that was released in 1997, all of it written during my time at that school. In previous years, my band, under the name Ellen Cherry, 2 words and capitalized at that time, had played the on-campus music festival that organizers named Hendrix Palooza, that was usually held outside and on the green sometime in April, springtime. It was a mix of campus groups and 1 or 2 bigger regional touring acts, and it always felt like a big deal to those of us who were local and got to be on the stage. The year I graduated, for some reason that I can't recall, my band didn't play the festival, but there's a picture of me in the yearbook, and I'm sitting on the lawn watching that show. There was a brooding performer with dark and deep-looking eyes, casually dressed in jeans and a white t-shirt, possessing an otherworldly voice who played a set in the middle of the day, and I remember thinking that he seemed like he didn't really want to be there, playing for us. He was distracted and didn't banter much, and he and his band all seemed to be internally focused. But his songs and the performance was, to put it lightly, memorable. Words that he sang that day still float into my mind all these years later. Maybe I'm too young to keep good love from going wrong. Or, kiss me, please kiss me. Kiss me out of desire, baby, and not consolation. And all of my riches for her smiles when I've slept so soft against her, it's never over. All my blood for the sweetness of her laughter, it's never over. She is the tear that hangs inside my soul forever. He had been living in Memphis, performing local shows, including this pickup gig that probably paid okay at my college. He was recording demos for his next album, the follow-up to his masterpiece, Grace, which I had only heard a year before, even though it had been out for a few years. This is when the internet was quite young, so music came to us there through these audio files that ran the college radio station, and I'm ever grateful for them and what they shared to us listeners. I didn't know it then when I was watching him play, but this guy was already pretty famous because of his rendition of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, and everyone started to discover his intricate and beautiful original songs and his impressive command of his strange and tender tenor voice. He was touring internationally. Things were happening for him and fame had already affected him. He He wrote on his website in late 1996 that the reason he was performing in clubs under aliases was that he missed the anonymity of playing in small clubs. He said, "There was a time in my life not too long ago when I could show up in a cafe and simply do what I do, make music, learn from performing my music, explore what it means to me, have fun while I irritate and/or entertain an audience who don't know me or what I'm about. In this situation, I had that precious and irreplaceable luxury of failure, of risk, of surrender. I worked very hard to get this kind of thing together, this work forum. I loved it, and then I missed it when it disappeared. All I am doing is reclaiming it." A few weeks after playing at my college, he was dead. Accidentally drowned in the Wolf River Harbor, a channel off of the Mississippi River as it flows past Memphis. He had gone swimming, inexplicably with his clothes on, and he drowned. He hadn't been on drugs or drunk, but was likely pulled into the current and simply swept away by that massive, mighty river. By the time I had heard that he had died, I had graduated and made my way further down that river to New Orleans to get a job, to fall in love, and to see if I could find small clubs where I could sing my own songs. What do you think?
That's an okay essay. It's great.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love Jeff Buckley.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's amazing. I remember hearing him on the radio. It was a track off of the Live at the Cine.
Yeah.
A little EP that came out. And actually, full circle of things. I bought that. I was buying my friends the first Christmas that I was kind of teaching. When I first started teaching in 94, it might have been 95 when I bought it. But I bought that for Tom McHugh's wife, Darby. That was one of my Christmas presents to her. And when I was buying presents for all my friends, because I just thought it was really great.
Such a good record.
Yeah.
And then Grace, all killer, no filler
Yep.
on that one. From beginning to end, just one of the most amazing records I've ever heard. A masterpiece.
That's out there in the living room. I will be recognized.
Meg's like, you're not going to be doing your own thing. Anyway, back to Jeff Buckley.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't say his name because I figured people would know and get it from context.
Yeah.
But I have the picture, so I brought my yearbook so you could see this picture of me
watching Jeff
Buckley play one of his final performances, because it was literally right before he drowned. Page 4. Is it that early? Anyway. Nope. Oh, here's a picture of me playing with my band.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Man, your stage presence.
Dressing up.
Jumps right off the page.
Wearing I had this terrible hairdo that year, obviously. Which I don't know if it's changed. I literally got a haircut yesterday. Where is this picture?
I doubt it exists.
It exists. It's real.
I think you're just making it up.
I'm not.
This makes for a great audio podcast.
I know.
Adventure.
Sorry.
You can hear the pages flipping. Will she find the picture?
Okay, I'll find it later.
Okay. But yeah, so there's that whole if we think about death and we think about Jeff Buckley and we think about dying before one's time, or the amount of time that we have, or just I don't know, the inexplicable passage of life,
and the silly, simple decisions that you make.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've personally have had that experience where and I'm not going to get too dark here, but I remember in the car wreck, I actually had time in the 8 seconds of this violent wreck to have these thoughts float. I felt like they floated in front of my eyes, because I remember the first time the car flipped, I thought, is this it? The capital IT, is this it? It's
right.
over. And then the second time when the car slammed into the ground, I was like, this can't be it. Because I was like, because I haven't done da-da-da-da-da-da, the list of things that I wanted to see or do or feel or experience. And all of those moments that you think, I don't know, it makes you think about mortality. And sure. I think I've always I don't know if it was just because of the way that I was, raised, that, and also early experiences with having grandparents who died. I knew that life was finite because these people that I had loved left.
Mm-hmm.
And it was permanent. And you get that idea of just like, oh no, I better get busy.
Hey.
But to bring it back to Jeff Buckley, he was 30 when he died. And we have no concept of what he would have done.
Right.
He was really positioned at a kind of wonderful time, because when he died in 1997, the 2000 auto-tuned pop
was about to
bullshit hadn't happened yet. And if he had reached that level of fame at the age of 33, 34, 35, he might have been able to resist it and say,
right.
I've achieved a level of fame that I'm comfortable with. And obviously because of that essay he wrote that I quoted, like he was just like, he had toured in Japan, and was starting to become really much more famous.
Right.
And the year of 1996 and 97, he came back to New York, and he like played in all these clubs under these like crazy band names, like the Crack Robots or something like that.
Right.
Crack Robots or something like that. I can't remember. You can look them up. And I just thought, that's a person who already recognizes early on that he wants to have limited participation with that beast.
Yeah, the widespread thing is too much.
Yeah. And he wants to experiment. Like, I love that quote. I hadn't read that quote before about him. It just felt so familiar. Like, I felt just a deep affinity with him again by him saying that. Like, the reason that I'm doing this is that I want to annoy and entertain an audience without them already knowing what I'm about.
Right.
I don't want them coming in knowing what I'm going to do.
Right.
I want to be able,
I
want to be able to experiment, and I want to be able to do. And also, the first part of the quote is something about do my music, but to have what music does for me in that moment. And I love that selfishness about it, because in that selfishness, it's completely like a selfless act in a way. I don't know. Anyway, he's crystallized in amber too. I mean, he's always going to look that way. At this point, he would now be in his 50s. And his dad died kind of young too.
Yeah. Tim
Buckley. I don't know. I always think of that moment, like seeing him play there, and then after graduation, like finding out, because I didn't the internet, like
I read it in I think I heard it on the radio first, and then I read about it in Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
And
but it wasn't like this immediate thing where everyone was like on Facebook like talking about how they are personally affected by Tom Petty's death.
And oddly enough, it's like people are so quick to point it out, and then like immediately so quick to forget it.
Yeah.
It like just kind of like passes so fast now too. And I guess time, I don't know if this is true for you. It's true for me. That time is going by really quick. Like, I've entered a phase in my life where it's like, that was a whole year? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like Prince has been gone for a year? 2 years? That's bullshit.
2 years.
Bowie, 2 years?
No, Bowie is 1 year. He was last year.
Same thing.
Prince was 2016, April of 2016.
I just saw a meme online that said, it showed a picture of David Bowie playing Tesla. And it says, well, because he did, and I think it wasn't The Prestige, but it was like maybe it was The Prestige. I don't know. It was one of the two Magic movies that came out like 8 years ago or something.
Okay. With
Hugh Jackman, and then the other one had some other person like Christian Bale in it, and but it had a picture of David Bowie playing Tesla, and then the second half of the meme was a car in space and says Tesla playing Bowie, because that's what they just like shot a Tesla car out into space.
Did that really happen?
That's what I heard it on the news. Like, it was blaring David Bowie, which is pretty funny.
I keep thinking, okay, we're going to get off topic. I keep thinking that we are going to hit the boundary, that we're going to hit the fence of peak ridiculousness. Yeah. That we are going to hit it. And then somebody else just pushes it.
You know what? For me, it's not until
Terry Crews is actually president and shoots off a gun in Congress.
No, that Melania divorces Donald, and then Donald marries Stormy Daniels,
and then Melania runs for president and wins in 2020.
Oh God. Oh.
The sweet release of death. When will you come?
Jeez.
No, I don't even want to think about that.
Oh my goodness.
No, so
I'll
the passage of time,
yes.
the reason it feels so quick to you too is that it's relativity. Well, not relativity, but it's relative. That when you were 4, an hour of your life was a much bigger chunk, so it seemed to pass slower. And also, you didn't have control of your environment. You were learning, and somebody else was taking care of you.
Right.
Now, as an adult, you have absolute control over for the most part, you have control over your time. But an hour of your life is a much smaller increment. So,
right. Yeah, and
it's going like that.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. Because you're just getting older, man.
It's really fast.
Just watching you age right in front of me.
I know. I made that point the other day in my class. I was talking about because we were talking about Frederick Douglass, and we're talking about
that guy's gonna go places.
He's really doing well. I mean, the work he's done, the work he can do.
We referenced that guy, not Frederick Douglass, but we referenced He Who Shall Not Be Named a lot sarcastically, and I'm hoping that doesn't give him a little bit of like boost. Like a little power boost.
I don't think
every time because of his fucking vanity.
There we go.
Yeah,
there's the sweet spot.
Man, if a year from now we are talking about First Lady Stormy Daniels, I'm moving.
First Lady Stormy Daniels.
I'm moving.
Stormy Daniels off. Well, she's hot.
I'm moving. I'm moving out of this crazy world.
Yeah, well,
Anyway, what were you saying?
I don't know.
Death?
What? Death? Question mark? Who knows? Well, the thing about
and also like the deaths that have affected us. Like, I interrupted you.
That's all right.
Let me woman-splain something to you, okay?
Please cherry-splain.
Let me cherry-splain something to you. Let me lay some of this on you right now. When Tom Petty died,
yes,
you and I were sitting together on my couch, and you were wearing your Tom Petty's Not Stupid t-shirt, and we sort of looked at Facebook, and there was like news that he had been hospitalized.
Yeah.
And so both of us had a moment to talk about like Tom Petty, and you were talking about seeing him in concert and how he didn't look good. Mm-hmm. And he's a long storied history of abusing drugs or self-medicating
and smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day.
Smoking a lot, which is not good for you. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but it's not a healthy way to live your life. Don't smoke 4 packs. If you can try to get it down, that's good. Anyway, no judgment.
No judgment.
So and then a day later he was dead, and there was also like the question circling around, like, is it really true? Is this person really dead? Yeah. Which doesn't happen with like the regular person who just happened to expire at the hospital because they're 75 and they're, like had pneumonia or whatever, and people aren't like trying to confirm their death. You have a hair right in your right eye and it's going to bug you. Okay. Got it? There you go.
I hope so.
Okay, good. Listeners, are you happy that I just helped Grim not go blind?
It was touch and go there for a moment.
But the fact that like the communal mourning online for dead celebrities.
Yeah.
It doesn't help me at all go through the mourning process that I personally feel about like losing somebody. Because this is off discussed. Like, why do we mourn? Why do people feel so connected to people that they don't actually know? Like, I felt really terrible and sad when Prince died because I had seen him in concert. I thought he was an amazing performer. I feel like a lot of his music really touched me and moved me in such a wonderful way. Like, it's sensual, it's fun, it's poppy, dance, talked about sexuality. He was just people who are more eloquent than I am right now can have praised him for his incredible body of work and his output and just his being on this planet, but then to collectively mourn, I don't know, it's a private thing for me. And with Tom Petty, it's like I felt not necessarily as powerful connection as with Prince, but it was still really sad because I really enjoyed a lot of his music, and I think he's a great songwriter. And there's like Wildflowers is one of my favorite albums.
Sure. It's a great record.
To listen to. I think it's really moving and touching, and there's a lot of deep and caring sentiment in it that shows a really wise heart and a loving person. And when he died, I was just like, I don't want to read everybody's tributes to him
Yeah.
or like how they personally relate to him. Like, I don't care how you personally relate to him. I only care about how I related to him, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that happens with famous people who die now. We collectively, but back to your point too, is that it's like, it's this digital rending of clothes for like one day.
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
And then it's gone.
Whereas, like, I think about Jeff Buckley's death, and I'm just like, that really impacted me. And that was 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And I still think about, like, you know, I was in the region of the country he was when he drowned. I
Right.
saw him weeks before that. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. It still affected me. Anyway, that's what I was going to say.
Well, the thing
So I was going to cherry explain to you.
Yeah, thank you for cherry splaining. I totally cherry stand it now.
Finally.
Finally.
Ugh.
The whole idea that he had about, or like because I didn't know that he was performing under assumed names. Like, I hadn't read that essay that he wrote.
He performed under Jeff Buckley at our college.
You're right.
But like in New York,
But
yeah,
in
he was
New
doing
York
that. Yeah.
and to play the smaller shows, and you know, there's the whole thing about fame. If we take it back to the whole purpose of our podcast, which I think your essay does a really cool job of talking about death and relating, and it took me a minute, like the first, like, I don't know, I'd say paragraph or so, I'm kind of like, well, where's she going with this? And then as soon as you started quoting him, and I was like, oh, and then as soon as I knew it was Jeff Buckley, I was like, I get it. Pretty sneaky, sis. All right. And so, but the real turn is that or at least the connection I think we can find to fame as well, is this idea that once you become famous, I mean, especially from the pure artistic point of it, if you're a Jeff Buckley and you have this pure artistic need to share, but it has to be, it can't be so big that you no longer feel connected with an audience. And so that fame brings attention, but it brings more people, and the more people that are there, the more ground you have to cover in order to communicate those things. And you know, even with technology, even with, like, you know, I mean, I'm sure, you know, people will say, well, you know, I went to a U2 show and Bono was singing to me. Okay, sure, maybe. I don't know. I haven't gone to a U2 show lately, but I went to see The Who, and they weren't singing to me.
No, they're singing their songs on stage.
They were playing, and it was a great performance. I loved it, but I didn't, you know, I looked at a very, 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 very tiny version of Roger Daltrey screaming.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how I saw, what's his name? I can't believe I just forgot his name. Oh my God. Roger Waters.
Oh, yeah, Roger Waters.
This summer.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that guy
It's
was.
kind of like watching a movie.
Yeah.
You know, when you get that kind of distance between yourself and the artist and the song or the interpretation. But what I saw last night, because at the Jason Isbell show, which, you know, they played great, but the mix was really bad. It's like you're on a MIG ride there. For those people who are not in the room with us right now, Mig is currently trying to sharpen his claws on the back of Ellen Cherry's chair, and he's effectively pulling her down into the current of cats. So
Be one of us. Be one of us.
there's the scraping at the door.
Meow.
Meow, meow. So
That's the cat. That's the sound cats make. Everybody knows that it's
everybody knows
morale.
that, yeah. And then he just kind of like slinks off into the next room, like, my job is done here. I've left my mark again. Anyhow, but it goes back to that, like, I was watching the show, and I had seen him at Merriweather just 6 months prior, and like I thought the Merriweather show. I liked the Merriweather show better because I thought the mix was better. It sounded so much better.
And for people who don't know these
outside.
venues, Merriweather is a big pavilion.
Right.
Probably, I would say at least between 10 and 20,000 people could fit there.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't know that.
Maybe 10,000.
I think 5,000.
Okay, 5,000.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking Verizon Center. Verizon Center is bigger, 20.
Merriweather's smaller. I think.
5. Okay, so 5 100,000, but the lyric Opera House is probably less than 2.
Yeah, it's less than 2,000.
Anyway, so it's a little bit more intimate. Yeah.
But like it was such a harsh mix, and I was watching and I was trying to enjoy the show, and I kept putting my fingers in my ears because it was too much. I could feel like the pressure of the sound waves was crushing my eardrums. But I also thought like I don't, as a concert goer, it's like, man, I don't ever want to go to one of these shows again. I don't. I love his. I cried during If We Were Vampires.
Yeah, I know you love that song.
Oh my, such a good song, and he's singing it, and it's like, it's all these things are kind of like bubbling up, and I'm listening to his words, and I'm just like, ah. And then he's singing it to his wife on stage, and she's singing it back to him. It was like, oh my God, like I got something in my eye. So, jeez.
Like, I'm feeling emotions.
I mean, I feel like crying right now just thinking about it.
What do I do with these things called emotions? And, they're feelings, not facts, just feelings. So you know.
Yes, true. That's true. So the thing is like, out of all the songs, that was the last song that they played of the night. It was part of the encore. And of all the songs, that was the most effective to me. But it wasn't because I was in the venue, and it wasn't really because of the performance. It was because my connection to the song, and how I'm feeling at a particular time. And it didn't. I mean, it sounded okay. I mean, they're doing something new with it, and they're trying new things because they're Grammy Award winning, superstars. But
they've had some success.
They've had some success,
and they can relax.
And man, I hope their next record is going to be just absolutely killer.
Yeah.
But I also felt like it's like I don't need to. I want to go to a show where I'm 5 feet from the person.
Yeah.
I want to be this show. I just can't. I can't. I have a hard time doing it.
And I feel like that's what Jeff Buckley was saying in that essay. He was just like, he wants to feel that too. He wants people to be closer to him and to feel exactly what you're talking about and not have this huge distance.
Yeah, because in a way that distance is kind of like a dying. It's kind of like a death. It's kind of like a disconnect.
Yeah.
Between the audience and the person who's making the music.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But for the type of music that you and I make, that is, I mean, I guess
I'm just hoping to get 10 people to show up.
We are successful in that way because I feel like there's a lot of, I mean, when we talk about fame, you and I feel like are sort of in this middle ground on it. That like, I look at that with trepidation. Like, I wouldn't ever want to be singing a song that I wrote about, an intimate love experience, in a relationship with somebody that is, the idea of doing it at Verizon Center is like abhorrent to me.
Yeah.
Because that type of sound isn't meant to fill that big of a balloon.
Right.
It's meant to fill a much smaller dome and a much smaller, like, actual room. It's meant to be there. This makes me think of Maria Bamford. Do you know her?
That name is vaguely familiar.
She's a comedian, and she has possibly bipolar 2. I'm not sure. And she's open about talking about that. She bases some of her comedy on that. But she did a special maybe 5 years ago, and it was in her house, and it was a special just for her parents. So her parents were the only people in the audience, and it's so good. And it's like, I totally understand that idea of sharing the music one-on-one, even when I've been in situations where you're sitting in a room and the house concert's like 5 or 10 people, and people are really close to you, and you're like, do I make eye contact? Because like, are we like in love right now? And maybe I need to like, should I look at you while I'm singing this? I did a gig at the Ivy Bookshop with Ed Doyle Gillespie a couple weeks ago. And it was kind of that similar feeling. Like, I had friends in the front row and I'm singing and I'm like, do I make eye contact with them? Because this is like, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah.
You didn't make eye contact with me.
I know, duh.
I was like, whatever.
It's too like close. But then I also...
Well, I was also paging through books while you were...
Yeah, you were like... And talking loudly on your cell phone.
Right. I know. Dude, I'm all about the Eagles.
Wait, hold on a second. I just got a Tinder match.
Hold on. Ding.
Swipe.
What up?
Hey, Ellen Cherry.
Woo woo. And that was during that guy's reading.
When's Ellen gonna play? Luray. Anyway.
Stop poetry. Poetry's stupid.
No, poetry is good.
Let's hear the chick sing.
His poetry was really good too.
It was very good.
Okay, so let's listen to your essay.
Oh, you are going to find out that
We've been avoiding it now for 10 minutes. These 10 minutes.
These 10 minutes. But no, it's funny. All of our conversation, and it's just going to be a repeat. So here we go.
Is it? Okay.
It's all right. Here we go. Woo! A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." "However," replied the universe, "the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation." Stephen Crane. Lately, I've been struggling with the whole "what does it mean" thing, and in trying to figure it out, or at least a bare minimum, alleviate some of the existential anxiety I was experiencing, I looked for answers in some poetry. I looked for some answers in some of the music of the recently departed Marquis Smith. And just the other day, I looked for an answer through some conversation with my good friend Ellen Cherry, whom said, "At the core, we do it for ourselves." On the surface, doing something for ourselves seems like such a selfish position to take. Like you are putting your own needs before others, your place in the world, the food on your plate, the possessions in your house. However, and I'm not even sure why I had never thought of this idea before, but about 10 years ago, I was watching some nature show about tigers or lions or whatever, but a big cat mother was trying to hunt and find food for her offspring. And there wasn't much to hunt. And what she did catch, she needed to eat first to maintain her strength, and to hunt further and to provide food and develop milk for the cubs, kittens, baby big cats, whatever you want to call them. But eventually, things didn't work out. I guess my point is that we must feed ourselves first. We must put the oxygen mask on first before assisting those sitting in the next seat. Which brings me back to Marquis Smith in the fall. After his death, 2 words popped up frequently in the obit articles: prolific and irascible. For 31 records, Smith followed a vision he had for what his music and his band should be doing, even up to his death. Reading some of the stories about Smith's mercurial ambivalence towards the outside world and people is inspiring. Not to be like him, but to know that such focus and output is the direct result of clear, true commitment. The key word here is output. I'm sure Smith had a lot of unreleased material, but that is only because time ran out. In perspective, death only slowed him down. So maybe this meaning I was searching for is my search. But I'm sharing the journey. And as long as the cybergrid holds, long after I'm gone, people will connect with my ghost to feed themselves and find strength. Song of myself. The spotted hawk swoops by and accuses me. He complains of my gab and my loitering. I too am not a bit tamed. I too am untranslatable. I sound my barbaric yop over the roofs of the world. The last scud of day holds back for me. It flings my likeness after the rest, and true as any on the shadowed wilds, it coaxes me to the vapor and the dusk. I depart as air. I shake my white locks at the runaway sun. I effuse my flesh in eddies and drift it in lacy jags. I bequeath myself to the dirt to grow from the grass I love. If you want me again, look for me under your boot soles. You will hardly know who I am or what I mean, but I shall be good health to you, nevertheless, and filter and fiber your blood. Failing to fetch me at first, keep encouraged. Missing me one place, search another. I stop somewhere waiting for you. Walt Whitman.
Motherfucking Walt Whitman in his house.
I don't know if anybody's actually said motherfucking Walt Whitman.
Motherfucking Walt Whitman in his house.
In his house. Yeah.
Man, Song of Myself, one of my, I read it like once a year, and it's just, and it every time I read it, and you're reading of it then too, I want to comment on that first. First of all, the essay was excellent. It was excellent. It was not good. It was excellent. So shut up about any self-criticism about it. I will refuse to hear it.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying that just because you referenced my wise words, which were amazing and prescient and all those things.
Yes.
That it reminds me of that Tom Waits song Greengrass, where he has sort of a similar sentiment about like, I'll be the tree. And I can't remember all the lyrics right now. I shouldn't be quoting a song. I don't remember all the lyrics, but it's just a beautiful song about the way that I also think about when I think of Song of Myself. And I've been doing some work on myself recently in a step program, and there's always this reference to this higher power, God as we understood him. And it's very difficult for me because I was raised in the patriarchal white man God of Catholicism.
You mean the only
The only God.
the only true religion.
Yes, and so I'm not blaming because that's a child understanding of Catholicism. I realize that it could be much more expensive than that, especially as an adult, and I'm not trying to criticize that religion in this moment. What I'm saying is that
That's for a later podcast.
my perception of it was very much like what a drawing would look like, what a picture of that God would look like, and to come to understand the God that Walt Whitman is talking about, motherfucking Walt Whitman is talking about, and Tom Waits is talking about, and what you and I always talk, not you and I always talk about, but I feel like some of our conversations revolve around are the everywhereness of it and the universality of that energy. And I've started referring to it in the program as a hum, a vibration, and how I fit into that vibration and how I'm part of it. And how Mark E. Smith vibrated for 60 years.
So, your God is some sort of
Vibrator?
Great vibrator.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, God is a cosmic vibrator.
No. I mean, sure, but
What's wrong with that? Don't be so uptight about it. Don't be so uptight about it.
I'll loosen up about it. It's fine.
Okay. But just the idea that there's a continuity that you reference in your essay of Mark Smith being like, he hit the ground running in his life, 31 albums, and the only thing that stopped him, the only thing that stopped us from being able to experience him anymore,
right,
is death.
Is death.
Because who knows what he's doing now?
Right.
We don't know. But that put a stop, like a kibosh on it.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah. A whole new world with you. Are we about to quote Aladdin to me? I know you've been watching it behind my back. I know you've been watching Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. I've been brushing up on it.
Okay, good.
I've been brushing off.
So, okay, yes. Well, I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to comment on in your essay. But go ahead. You were going to say something. You were going to say something profound. I could sense it.
Maybe profound, half profound.
Okay.
But I've been thinking about it a lot, like the whole, when I reference the idea of like, the whole what does it mean type of thing. You know? And it's not
because we did have that conversation the other night. Like, what is the meaning of all of this?
Because we write songs or people go to work and or all our existence, and it's not I don't want to think of it as like a rabbit hole deep thing where it's like, well, I'm gonna figure it out, but it's you have these moments of, and it's not self-doubt either, it's these moments of like, I'm searching for some purpose there, or I'm trying to reaffirm some purpose. It's not whether it's worth it. It's just, what does it mean? And the great thing about getting older is that there's a deeper definition to to the emotions that I've experienced when I was younger, and to my experiences. My experiences are certainly defining these things, and it's more like what is it? The topographic maps, the maps in relief, that you can see the peaks and the valleys of the landscape, and that's really like it's becoming deeper and what's the cold is cold and the hot is hot, and there's a humidity, there's an atmosphere, there's a thickness to it that I am now able to appreciate that I wouldn't have been able to appreciate before, I think.
Yeah.
And so,
because of its temporality.
The ephemera of it, the ephemeral nature of life as it's short lived, and then I think I was worried at some point about not being old, getting old, but time is, as we said, finite. So wait, what? I only have so much time to appreciate this, but I also only have so much time to put stuff out.
Yeah.
And I like to put out.
Good to know.
As much as I can,
Okay, but I have a little push, not back on that, but we have a mutual friend named Scott Smith who talks about his legacy a lot, and I've always thought that was really interesting because I don't experience recording and writing that way. I'm experiencing recording and writing as though. Wait, am I talking about myself now? Okay.
I'm just gonna feed the cat.
He's feeding the cats, folks. We gotta feed the cats at the studio because if we don't feed them, they become rebellious. So Scott Smith talking about his legacy and being very concerned about his legacy, and in my mind, the legacy is what happens after you are no longer existing, and so I don't get to enjoy that. And so I'm just like, I'm sort of half concerned about my legacy because I'm just like, oh, I've discovered recordings of people, from 50, 60, 70 years ago and written music from somebody 400 years ago that has moved me and been exciting and interesting. But the idea of that, it just doesn't concern me as much. And so I think that's probably why I'm like, yeah, I record an album and I'm like, yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
I want to play the songs, and I also play them over and over again, and so they change. And I've had several albums where I've recorded the same song different ways because I'm still exploring it. And I just think, well, it's not suited to packaging that way because you can't be like, well, this is the one song that was that way.
Well, that's really funny because that's exactly what Walt Whitman did with Leaves of Grass. I mean, he rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it. And for full disclosure's sake, that's something that drives me crazy about your output. Because
my output,
because your output, because you and
it's okay, I can handle it.
I'm sure you can.
I feel that this is critique, not criticism.
It is critique, and it is also. I mean, there's value in that, and I remember I said something to you about it, probably about a year or two ago, and then feeling bad about saying it because I had to remind myself that you were going through something that I wasn't going through, and to have the presence of mind to be like, oh, right, you know what, she's redoing that because she feels that she needs to, and maybe this is something that's therapeutic, but it's also, there's an artistic something that's happening there, but I also think probably more therapeutic, but also, I mean, just as important, I guess.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for saying that, so I apologize.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's still not finished.
I know, and maybe it'll never be.
Yeah.
But I think my philosophy or my argument would be that that's what the live performance is for. The recorded artifact is the recorded artifact.
And also, yeah, it didn't matter to me. Just
Right.
the process of doing it was something that I needed to hold on to. And so, it was obviously, if you're looking for meaning, it doesn't have any meaning. What it has is, it was exercise for me. And it fed into the stuff that followed after that,
Right.
I think about it. So what Grimm is specifically referring to is that I got with Ben Frock at Heartwood Studios to reimagine my 2008 album Heart Like a Lion, and we did 4 or 5 songs off that album, and they're so close to being finished. But I just asked him 2 months ago, I was like, I want to redo the vocals and then let's finish it up, and we both agreed. But because there's no record label, and I'm the only one pushing it, I have to do other things in front of that, including like make money, plan tours, do podcasts, play shows, eat, drink, things like that, sleep. And so to me, it was just like, I just realized, I was like, passage of time, I was like, holy shit, it's February. What is today? The 7th?
The 7th,
And we were supposed to do that over the week of Christmas, and neither of us have communicated about it, which means that it's unimportant in that way. But it fed directly into me writing other songs that year. Like when I started, I think it was 2015 when we started working on it, and I wrote I feel like one of my best songs, I Have No Place for My Sadness, and like it's directly prompted from just playing, and also having a chance to play around with like Ben Frock and Eric Von Marco and Derek Michaels and I'm missing somebody. No, I think it was the three of us in the studio together, guys that are typically involved in jazz, and that felt great for me too. So no, I totally like, it's there's a finite amount of time that we have to produce things, and my feeling I just accept that it's like, when I said that to you the other day, that the meaning of us writing songs is we do it for ourselves.
Sure.
And I want to have that be like the guiding force for both of us, because who else are we doing it for? Oh. I'm not even writing songs for you. I'm writing songs for me.
I'm not writing songs for you.
I know.
I mean, hello. Shaw. I've already written 3 songs for Faum. Where are you on your Faum song?
I'm finished.
You are not finished.
I've done 14.
I've done 28.
I did 14 songs in 7 days.
You did not.
And then I threw them all out and decided to start over.
Yeah, but you almost sounded like the voiceover for The Real World.
Oh, I did? I thought I was sounding like the voiceover from Strangers with Candy.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm back. I'm 42 and what does she say? I'm back.
I'm back. I'm 42 and
I was a user, a loser,
and a boozer.
But now I'm back in high school.
Right. Yeah, ready to do it all over again.
I love that show.
Oh, it's a great show.
Oh, those halcyon days.
I bought the online video version on Amazon.
That is what we were watching.
Okay.
Soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great one.
So, we have reached the period of the podcast where we feature something that we should be famous.
Wow, look at the deft shift.
Yes.
Deft shift.
Not to be, that's what Daft Punk's first band name was.
Yeah, and they were like,
it's too hard.
No.
Americans can't get their mouths around those words.
No, they cannot.
Deft shift.
Even though they're used to shoveling lots of shit in their mouths.
Man, we are mean to our countrymen. I think America's great. In fact, I would like to announce right here that Grim and I have committed to we've semi-committed to another tour together.
Another tour, yes.
Yes, in the late summer, early fall possibly, to go to the Northwest for the express purpose, because Ellen Cherry...
Never coming back.
Never coming back. Ellen Cherry needs to see a whale.
Yeah.
I need to see a whale.
Usually, if folks don't know this, when you book a tour, you try to find an anchor date. You try to find the kind of like the furthest part you want to go before you start edging back, but also something that that you can kind of book your tour around. This is not one of those tours.
No.
It's about to see a very large aquatic mammal.
Yes. That is the goal. But we want to get out to Seattle, Portland. I have an aunt in Ashland, Medford, Oregon. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening and you're in those locations, we're looking for gigs, and we're going to start pursuing them.
Yes, late July, early August.
Late July, early August. So yeah, because we've got to see a whale.
We have to. It's
and by we, I mean me and all of my intricate universes that are possessed within my mind.
Because what
you can also be there if you want.
Yeah, I'm just a witness.
I'm cool if you're there.
I'm a witness to her witnessing of a whale.
That's right.
It's a WWW. Well, and that's the thing that pushes everything, pushes the art, and pushes this whale watching thing.
Is the whimsy?
Death.
Question mark?
Bucket list. I don't know.
No, it's true, because I had never seen the Grand Canyon.
I've never seen the Grand Canyon.
It's amazing.
Second tour.
I have seen it.
You have seen it.
I saw it because remember when we played CES?
Oh, right. And
in 2013.
Right.
And so we decided to pack on a couple extra days to go from Las Vegas and see the Grand Canyon. It was in January, so it was really cold, and there was not a lot of people there. It was Southern Rim. And it was something that I had always wanted to see. And I had friends go out there, and I never could do the scheduling, and I just was like so far away, whatever. I never got to see the Grand Canyon. I always wanted to see it. So went after that CES gig, and it was spectacular and amazing and beautiful and like a painting, and really hard to understand the scope of it. And then you start to think about like, oh, it's 500 million years old, but it's not actually 500 million years old because it actually took like basically the half of the age of the earth to create, because it had to build up and then be cut through with the river. Right. And when you think about that, you're like, I am witnessing a geologic event that's in progress, but also is like half the age of the planet.
Right.
Probably more. Somebody can correct me on that, but that's amazing, and also makes you feel like it doesn't matter what I do because this thing is still doing its thing, and I'm gonna be like, hopefully 100 years here. Let's touch wood. Oops, touch my head. Plastic. Touch plastic.
Yeah. Did you get a selfie with the Grand Canyon?
No, I didn't. But a couple of weeks later, 5 weeks after that, I was in a terrible car wreck, and I will never forget. Like, oh, I'm so glad. I remember even being like in the hospital high on morphine and being like, I'm so glad I saw the Grand Canyon,
man.
Before this happened, because what if it had happened and then it wouldn't have mattered, I would be dead. But the point is that like I was so grateful for that and excited and happy I did that. So it always does. I always plan these big events with trepidation because I'm like, what's going to happen afterwards? Nothing's going to happen.
I don't think we should probably travel separately after seeing the whale.
Okay.
Thing. I'm just saying.
But I tried to see a whale a year and a half ago in Maine, and I saw a little sliver of a whale, but I want to see a whale.
Right.
I want to see a whale. So we're going to do it. So Portland, Seattle, Vancouver.
Get your whales ready.
Ooh, Katrina Kadosky, who we should feature. I'll bring in a recording of her next week. She lives out in Canada. She's amazing. She has this really cool show about Cougar Annie, and she has a great voice. And maybe she could help hook us up with some gigs out in Canada too, which would be cool. Got your passport? Got your passport ready?
I got my passport.
Me too.
What?
We're ready.
Twinsies.
We can escape planet America anytime we want.
Planet America.
Okay, so who are we listening to?
We are listening to Luray, which is Shannon Carey. She's originally out of Washington D.C., but she is now in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
Her brother plays with some sort of super band, or used to. I don't know if he still does or not. I will not mention who they are, but
okay,
because they're already famous enough.
Yeah, they don't need our promotions.
Yeah. But Luray, they do some touring and stuff like that, and it's kind of she plays banjo and sings, and
cool.
Yeah, it's their drummer. This guy CJ Wolf he's a great drummer. I really enjoy seeing him play. Our guitarist is really good. A guy named Scott Burton, really good. I don't know their bass player. I think they've gone through a couple of bass players. Maybe I could get that wrong. Sorry, bass player person, if I got that wrong. But
I think bass players are used to it. Like, remember that movie, That Thing You Do?
Yeah.
The bass player doesn't even get named, and even in the credits, he's called TB player. Like they never named the bass player, and even sad. In the credits, the actor is called the bass player.
That's pretty funny.
So
that's really funny. But
just love that commentary on that's just the bass player.
Yeah, well,
bass players are important.
They're so totally
and
important.
Like they're
finding a really good one. Forget it,
man.
That's why I'm so glad we got. I mean, we in June Star we had Cody Harrod for a year, and now he's moving to DC with his girlfriend, and he's all grown up. You know, there's no
dang.
You got to spread your wings and fly. You know. Oh, I'm so proud of him. But then, and he was really great. I really enjoyed having him in the band. And then, like when he told me he was leaving, I was like, oh, okay. And
dang.
And I was like, wow. You know, and just at the same time, I'd seen a post from Ryan Finneran saying, "Hey guys, I'm interested in playing music again." I was like, "Oh god!" Send him a text like, "You want to play in June Store?"
They should have Tinder for musicians.
They should. Oh, $1 million idea.
I would actually say $150 idea.
What?
Tinder for musicians, where you're just like, I'm out of this band, and people are like, swipe left, swipe right, or whatever the fuck you do on Tinder. I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
So.
That'd be awesome. Sounds like a deal. So anyhow, Luray,
back to them. We're gonna listen to their song.
We're gonna listen to their song Wilder, and then we'll chat about it for a second or whatever, and just enjoy.
Okay. We can listen to it again if we need to. I thought that was lovely.
I think it's really cool.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
It had a so her voice reminds me of Patty Griffin, who I love a lot. Mm-hmm. I do like the sound of the banjo. Much better than another instrument, which we will not name, that has been popular.
Very popular.
That I don't like as much, but I like the banjo.
Entirely too popular.
I like the banjo. And I have a banjo, so I should be playing. And I'm playing banjo in my new outfit.
Oh, the Color Light Theory.
Color Light Theory, yeah.
Is that your outfit?
Sorry.
Wow.
Our outfit.
Not our as in...
Ours and me and Richard and Tillman's.
Yes.
So, like, Richard is all about democracy and ownership of the thing. He doesn't like to think of it as just like him and Tillman, because he's totally included me into that group in a really wonderful way. So, yes, our outfit. Yes. Some ownership of it. It's nice to be in a band again. I also liked the end with the rolling snare.
Right.
That reminds me of that song by Death Cab for Cutie, Transatlanticism.
Mm-hmm.
And the spacey recording of it, very reverbed and nice harmonies. And I'd have to go back and listen to the words a little bit closer, because I admit I was searching for a picture of me watching Jeff Buckley while I was listening.
You don't have to admit that stuff.
Which I found, and we both observed it during the song.
We did.
So
we did. I just like the fact that the song itself seems to be, we always look for a pattern, or we look for a refrain, and there certainly are those things, but then it starts to build to something and then kind of just dissipates into nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's a really kind of cool concept. And the idea that I was just doing did a radio interview last week, and one of the things I was talking about was like, yeah, I know.
I was just doing a radio interview with,
no big right
after
shakes.
I did the corridor cast, and now I'm on that, and
and
also there's like big news about my CD release party coming up in April.
Oh, and then I was nominated for album of the year for WTMD.
Nice.
Yeah. And then when I was walking around last night in the lobby of the Lyric Opera House, and everyone came up and talked to me. It was like, "Hey, Grim, how you doing?" In fact, one person yelled, "Hey, are you famous yet?"
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, it was Aaron Berkmeister. I think that.
Is he even listening?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's funny. So I was walking, I just heard from behind me. He's like, "Hey, are you famous yet?"
Yes.
I was like, what?
Yes. I'm so excited by that. I'm so excited by that.
I'm being recognized in crowds at an opera house
because of our podcast about us not being famous. Yep. I love it.
Reverse psychology marketing is working.
Yay! Something is finally working.
I like that it's a short song. So one of the things I said in the interview was like, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like, one of the songs off of the new record is only 1 minute and 25 seconds long, but I think it's a really great song. And then I was like, yeah, maybe a record of just really, really short songs, like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes long, would be kind of a cool type of thing. And that's what I like about Luray's tune. Yeah, it's short, gets in, gets out.
I feel like one of the best songs I ever wrote was with Steve Dawson. We wrote the song called Map of the Clouds. It's like 1 minute 35, maybe 1 minute 43. And it's just like, it couldn't be any longer than that. Right. It's these two phrases that go through. And it's, I think part of that is you are efficient, and efficient is the right word, but the wrong feeling. You're not saying any more than needs to be said. Right. Musically, melodically, lyrically. So it's very cool. Economic. It's also like a very clinical sounding word though for what we're talking about, because it's like, and it's also ridiculous to be like, they'll leave them wanting more. It doesn't actually do that. It's actually satisfying in that short time frame. So I don't know. Anyway, okay, so yes, we are touring in a matter of weeks.
Almost there.
Now that we've finished the one with the question mark, death. We've got another topic for next week, which also doesn't make sense, but I think it's
accountability. We're ending on a high note.
Well, no, because there's a blank space, so we have like we can write about whatever we want. No, neither of us should be freestyling.
That's whack.
It is whack. Word to your mother, psych face.
Psych face.
So, we're going on tour. We don't need to talk too much about it, because I'm going to actually start promoting it in the next, tomorrow is my big day. I've carved out 2 hours in the afternoon to put together all these Facebook events for it. Cool. So yeah, if you're in Dallas, Texas, we have a Tuesday night open there, and I'm going to probably just find a place for us to play, and we can stay with my parental units. I haven't cleared that with them yet, but I'm sure they'll be okay with it. Yeah, they'll be all right. And Nashville, have not secured anything. Nashville on March 16th, which is a Friday. So we are roaming around between Birmingham, Alabama on a Thursday night, and basically we have a radio show on that Sunday. No.
In Nashville? No. We're in Asheville on that Sunday.
Okay, Asheville, North
Carolina.
So we have space Friday and Saturday between Alabama and Asheville, North Carolina. So if you're anywhere in that area, maybe we'll start looking in Georgia or something and just
see if we can find something.
Querying around.
Yep.
So also we have a GoFundMe page set up.
Yes.
And it is GoFundMe WAYF tour, TOUR.
Yep.
And we've raised about $1,500. Thank you so much to all of our supporters for this tour. There's going to be some shout outs during the podcasts that we do on the road for our supporters.
And shows.
You guys are making it possible for us to not stress about money while we're on the tour and just really share the experience with you and just for the first time in a while not stress about like the money aspect of it and just like actually make wages through our work and be able to have that support our lifestyles, which include living indoors and eating food. So thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so see you next time.
Well, maybe, but Ellen Cherry, I mean, from here on out, like, what if I'm on my computer somewhere and I need to figure out what's going on with Ellen Cherry?
You can go to ilovelesmis.com. I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
EllenCherry.com.
You can go to EllenCherry.com. Also, I would like to say while that website is up on your screen on the YouTube, if you're viewing it there, that I need help. I need help getting my website transferred over to a different hosting service. So if you're into that and you want just a little bit of money, please contact me. But you can find me on the contact page at ellencherry.com. You could also support all of my endeavors by subscribing or purchasing music for your very own at ellencherry.bandcamp.com.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
You can find my stuff at junestar.com, JUNESTAR.com. And then also I have a subscription service on junestar.bandcamp.com. $5 gets you everything I've ever done, plus public domain songs right now. Last year I did 52 original songs. You can also check out what I'm doing with FOM, fom.org/factory horse, I think is mine, but you can just look up Andrew Graham, it'll pop up there. I haven't posted anything yet because I haven't recorded anything yet, but it's been written.
Nice.
So I just gotta. I think after I come back from this mini tour I'm doing this weekend with June Star, I'm gonna
hit it hard.
I'm gonna hit it so hard.
Did you have to look me right in the eye when you said that? Because you literally you paused and you made eye contact with me and then you said it. So, woo!
It's a whole new
And on that note, dear listeners,
yes, we'll see you guys some other time.
I'm avoiding eye contact with anyone for the rest of the day.
Wow, man.
Uncomfortable. No, just kidding.
That's all right. We're about to spend 16 days together in a Honda Fit.
At which point I will never look you in the eye.
That's right.
Ever.
Not
once during that trip. No eye contact.
No eye contact.
Okay, bye.
See ya.